What's happening, people? Welcome back to another episode of Red Divided. Myself, Tommy.
You got Eddie here.
Got your boy Ham, a.k.a. Eberezi Oluchi Eze. My Nigerian brother, congratulations.
Congratulations. We have a special guest today. We have Rob, our football guru. That's probably the best way to describe
That's the best
you,
way
really.
to describe. Yeah,
I'll take it. You've been calling me a lot worse.
Look, every time we have Rob here, so we're going to talk championship. This is probably the best time to do it since there's nothing to play for in the league. There's no game to talk about, really. There's no excitement
it's only
at the moment.
Champions League positions that are left.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Only the
exciting.
Champions League position. But we'll get into all of that in a bit. Firstly, people, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends and family. Turn on your notification to know whenever we upload on YouTube. Don't forget, we are sponsored by Toxaze, the perfume. Go on his website, www.toxaze.co.uk. Use the promo code, all caps, Red Divided, to get 10% off on his website. First and foremost, I think it's important to give Crystal Palace a round of applause. The game was, to be fair, City had enough chances to win the game. I watched the game that dominated majority of the ball. Palace had chances as well, but I was happy. I was happy. I was happy for Eze. I was happy for Palace. Happy for who else is there? Adam Wharton. Centre back Mark Gay. Those type of players that stuck it out in Palace for a while. It would have had to move at the beginning of the season, but they didn't pay up for him. But I was happy for them, man. And first time Pep has gone without winning a trophy, which is just a first for everything, really. So
In his first year, did he go trophyless? Because they were saying since the 16-17 season.
I thought as if he did, you know.
Yeah, so 16-17 season.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
first season when he came in.
I think first season
they didn't win anything.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So since then, yeah, every other year since then.
But it's been a while. It's been a while. So
It's been a while. What did you guys' thoughts on the final anyway? Let's just start with the final.
Go on, Ade.
I'm trying to remember it. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, obviously, I do think it was. I like the way Palace started off. I thought they came and said, "Okay, we're going to try and play," and I think generally that towards the end of first half they continued to try and do what they wanted to do. Second half totally changed. At some points, I was just like, "Where are some players?" I thought some players had been taken off and disappeared. But ultimately, it's just what Man City do to you. They are ultimately a good team. They keep on the ball. And I guess they did try their luck sometimes. That handball, what did you guys think about that handball situation?
I don't remember a handball.
No? It was nothing.
It's busy.
I think that was an important part in the game. To be honest, that and the penalty, probably the two key parts. Because I reckon they score that penalty, it's done. I think City, I think it will be like the league game where they've caught them and then just run away with it. So that was a very key part of the game. Obviously, Henderson's had an amazing season, had an amazing game yesterday, because I don't think you go through a game against Man City and don't have the workout of your life. And even
goalkeeper's going to have to make worldies.
He's going to have to make worldies. And even just the players on the pitch, it was like putting your body on the line all the time. Goes shot after shot, especially towards the end. And it's just even that patience of not giving away another penalty towards the end. Because when Doku's running at you, it's hard enough. It's hard enough.
Even Savinho, it was cooking Tyreek.
It was tough.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the second half.
It was cooking Tyreek on the other side.
So I think they did well in the first half. Second half, Man City definitely stepped it up. But well played to them. They worked hard. They worked themselves into the ground to get that win. And I'm very happy for it. For City to go to 2 FA Cup finals and lose both of them.
Back.
After probably being the best team for both of them.
Probably.
I've got no issues with that. What were you guys thinking about it?
Go on, Rob. Because why did you say you didn't see nothing? Was you supporting Palace or?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Pep for a start, but Eze obviously
I was good. Yeah.
made his name with QPR, so
That's where we fell in love with him.
Yeah, and there was a few things about it. I think I was really pleased for Will Hughes, just a random one, because he was in that Watford team that got absolutely buried in an FA Cup final. And I bet he thought, what is he now, like 32 or something?
Yeah, he did. They
probably thought he wouldn't get back there again. So that must have felt good. Why does Pep keep doing this thing where he thinks defensive midfielders aren't needed in cup finals, despite the fact he loses all of them? He did it with Chelsea in the Champions League final. You can't tell me that Kovacic in that midfield wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah. I was surprised to see him not start. I don't know was he even on the bench?
No, I don't think he was in the squad.
So it must have been an injury. Then. Had to be an injury because he's been instrumental the last.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah.
I'm really surprised how much one player has taken out of City. City just look like they just run out of ideas. De Bruyne's legs are gone, and that's it. They still look to him and just say, make some magic happen.
Make something happen,
If you can't do it, then we'll just, Doku was the most likely yesterday, to be fair. He looked pretty threatening, but yeah, and I mean, after that league game, the Palace manager in his press conference was saying,
that was joke.
Pep's got a better game plan because we know how to solve this one. And
he
wasn't capping.
You have to love that.
I love it when people back up their words like that. So yeah, all round good day for me anyway.
Yeah. No, definitely for me. South London lad, born and raised there, so I was definitely hoping that they would do it. And obviously Palace had never won
a major trophy
anything before. My affinity to Palace is from when I was a kid playing for Crystal Palace Juniors, then 360 to when I played at Dulwich Hamlet. We used to train right by Palace's training ground in New Beckenham, which is not too far from here actually. So we used to train side by side when Ian Dowie was manager. So a lot of us 16 playing under 18s would have been thinking, if we do break into Dulwich Hamlet first 11, that's still semi-pro level, but then hopefully if you do, there's a Premier League club.
Yeah, right here.
So it was always like in touching distance, innit? Palace was always in touching distance. So I've always had an affinity for them. And then 360, and then obviously you mentioned the player that you mentioned, Eze, which we all love, innit? We all love. So I was definitely rooting for them. This close to putting a wager on it. Should have put a wager on it, because if I did put a wager on it, it was going to be Eze to score and Palace to win. Because I just had a feeling that they're going to do it. Just the fact that how the year's going, everyone's winning trophies. Like Newcastle, we sat here when Newcastle won a trophy, and me and Tom, we love Newcastle, and they won trophy. So it felt like it was in the air. And if they were going to beat Man City, then it was going to be this year. But City have pretty much fallen off, and that's fine because they've been absolutely fucking fantastic, innit, for the past 8 years, or they've pretty much dominated our domestic cups. All the domestic cups, they win them all the time, innit? So they don't give no one else a chance. So I was super happy, and I was happy that he scored it, and their 3 best players were all involved. I take Mark out of it because I think Mark's special, but this season, Daniel Munoz, Eze, and Mateta, them 3 have been different class. Like, them 3 could all get a move if they wanted to. Like, if Man United were like in their pomp and the system that Amorim wants to play, then you would just take Munoz and just go put him at your right wing back. You got a right wing back special for the league, brilliant player. Eze, I hope he gets a move. He is clocking 26, 27.
I think everyone's always looking at him.
Yeah, I just don't. Obviously, when he got linked to Tottenham last year, I was like, please don't do that. Because Madders has already gone there. I love Madders. Don't do that, Ez. So I hope he gets a move. He doesn't get a move. I hope he comes to us, because I think he's a fantastic, fantastic player. You know more about him, like I said, watching him from QPR. But his rise is just, to anyone watching this that's got kids coming through, like, you don't have to go down the route of, okay, I got a 5-6 year old boy, let me get him into an academy. Like, he can continue to play Sunday League football, and he can get released from it, and he can get released from 4, 5, 6, 7 clubs. If he just, as long as he doesn't lose the love for the game, for me, that's the most important thing. Just don't lose the love for the game. And if you do hear no, understand that. It's like me talking to my younger self now. Because as soon as I got released from Dulwich Hamlet, I just went straight to uni. I went to uni like I done my thing like 4 weeks before I started uni. Because I had no intentions of going to university. I just wanted to keep playing football. But as soon as I got the no, it was just like, oh shit, what am I going to do? But then I had a dad that was just like, well,
you ain't sitting around here.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas I wish, and it's not my dad's fault, I just wish that I had more gumption to just be like, no, I'm going to go try out for another team. A bit like what Eze's done. Eze's got released from all these clubs. Everyone knows his story. I don't need to go into it, but he's just never said no. Everyone said no to him, but he's never said no. And he's just continued. Look at him now. He's going to Wembley for England, gone to Euros for England, probably got a World Cup. I mean, because I think Tuchel likes him. Scoring for Palace. He's going to, like, he'll go down as he's a Palace legend already. Because every other player they've had there, Ian Wright, Mark Wright, Wilfred Zaha, never won anything. He's the one that scored in the final and won it. So, and it couldn't be more fitting because of his story. Similar to Ian Wright, but I feel like his story is even maybe a bit more special. Eclipses Ian Wright's story with Palace. So yeah, special to him. And lastly, their manager, what a guy. Like, what a guy. Because, you know, it was like touch and go in the season about do they let him go, do they not? So I was happy when they interviewed Steve Parish yesterday, and he said, we was never gonna let him go.
Yeah.
Now he's saying that to us in the boardroom. They might
Yeah,
be thinking,
probably.
But he come out and said we knew he's the guy and we were never letting him go, innit? And they're reaping the benefits of it, innit? So I hope they get to keep him. But I think everyone in Europe will be looking at him. The way he sets this team up, they play good football. They play 5 at the back, but they play good football. So yeah,
And now he's got trophies in 2 different teams because he's won in Europe with Frankfurt. And then you come across and win with Crystal Palace. Yeah. Like your CV is solid after that. Yeah, they might get a few knocks on the door.
Yeah,
off season.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle this summer transfer window, because with the FA Cup now and their form towards the end of the season, all it's gonna do is obviously attract their players to the big clubs. See if they keep as a. I think Mark is definitely going. Because I don't think he signs a new contract and he's only got a year left, so they've got to let him go.
I think Wharton goes as well.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I think it's too early. Where does he go?
I think someone pays money for him.
Yeah. I think if the money comes and it's right, then they'll let him go.
I think that's where the issue is. I think it's a case of someone paying the right amount of money for him.
I just don't think... I think they'll ask for a lot, and I don't think someone will be able to put up that kind of amount at the moment. I think he's got another season there. We'll see. But I'll be so surprised if he goes.
Because now, we all watch him play football and we're like, there's a decent chap there.
Yeah, more than decent.
If I can say, I'll pay you 50, 60 now, rather than you continue playing for 2-3 seasons, or let's say even 2 seasons, and I have to add another 20, 30 million, I might as well just take you now.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't think 50-60 gets it done.
That's my thought.
I
don't see
it.
Especially if they're sitting
British
there
tax.
knowing that Eze's going and Gay's going.
I don't think that gets it. Yeah,
British tax.
I think it's got to be
80
80 upwards to convince them.
Yeah.
50, 60 because
if Liverpool, someone like Liverpool, because if you were willing to spend 150 on Caicedo, would you not drop 70 million on?
But I think
Wharton?
with Liverpool's, whereas they've got other areas that's more important to them, they wouldn't spend.
But that's a shout though. That's a shout.
They wouldn't spend that much. Yeah.
For squad rotation, if he went there, obviously one of them's got to go sit on the bench, and then McAllister's supposed to grab him back. Because he's not going to go there if he's not getting guarantees of playing, isn't it? But that's a shout, though, in terms of them needing a 6, even though Gravenberch has been brilliant, but Adam's an actual 6, isn't it?
Yeah, but Gravenberch can play further forward if they...
And Gravenberch is a further forward player, though.
They can all rotate.
So you can mix it up,
I just think it will definitely be 80, I reckon. Because they in Palace is in the power position. He's got at least 3-4 years left in this contract.
All these numbers we quote for these players is stupid, because I love Adam. He ain't an 80 million player.
Yeah,
whether they sell Eze for,
bro, it's inflation.
It's just mad.
It's inflation.
They might tell you now that Dean Henderson is a 100 million goalkeeper now.
A few years ago, bread was 50p. Times changed.
But yeah, let's see. It'll be interesting to see who the keeper holder. But I know for sure, Marky, that's the only one I can almost guarantee that will go.
But Newcastle, you think Newcastle will come back for him then?
Yeah, I think Newcastle comes back for him.
I hope he doesn't go to Chelsea. Chelsea's not.
Because I don't. For his own sake, don't go back to Chelsea. Chelsea's a club that.
I'm trying to think who goes Newcastle.
Yeah, I just don't go back to Chelsea. Go to Newcastle. He plays at Newcastle. I think, because with the boys.
He play at Chelsea though.
Yeah,
all day long. Him and Cole starting 100%.
I just wouldn't like to be in Chelsea as a player.
But I wouldn't want him to go to Chelsea. But he starts all day long for Chelsea. Yeah,
he will start for Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea don't have they ain't got a better centre half than him. Of course he's gonna start.
Yeah, but where's he more likely to win trophies? The answer is probably Newcastle.
Yeah. No.
That's for
we're going in that direction. Understand that.
I'm not biased at all.
Yeah.
Understand
because if he goes
that.
Newcastle, Botman's top centre half. We love Fabian Schär here, top centre half. So he still got to go and fight them two to take a shirt off them two to start. He goes to Chelsea, he walks in there, I'm the big dog. Who's playing with me? Not the other way around.
What if Fofana's fit again though?
Yeah, I'm still the big dog. Who's playing with me? Not the other way around.
We don't see much of Fofana at all.
Yeah.
Fofana is hard.
And Levi Cole,
Sometimes
to his defence, had a good season. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
If he had money, I'll take Adam right now. Right now, but they're not.
Stop saying stuff.
But they're not.
Those are dreams. Dreams.
They're not. To be honest, I'll be so shocked, so surprised if they let Adam go this summer. So I think he just got another season there, especially with the others that we're talking about. I think they'll probably be priority, because someone like Eze, Mark will be we've done our time here. You've told us we're gonna go for how many years? This is the time to let us go. You can keep hold of Adam. The guy from what's the guy from Milwaukee again?
Black boy.
Oh,
Essay.
Yeah.
So and they'll probably add 1 or 2 to it. So
They're getting Europe, so they're gonna have to. But they will try and convince them with the fact that we're getting Europe for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, stay with us one more season.
yeah.
Play in Europe.
Play
have
in
fun.
Europe. Yeah.
I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why only Mark is the only guaranteed. I reckon Mark is going. I think he goes.
Yeah,
because if he's not going to sign a new contract,
he's not going to sign a new contract,
and you're not going to let him his contract run out, so you have to sell him. Yeah. So I doubt it will be silly to sign a new contract as well. I don't think
he doesn't want to stay. So
I'll take him. He can play for me one day a week.
Let's just do a quick roundup of like on the Premier League game, and then Rob, I'm just gonna get your thoughts on. Obviously, we've talked a lot about our teams over the season, so we just get like a debrief from you in regards to like your thoughts on both teams and like both managers. We've had 2 managers this season, so
take your pick.
Name your pick. That's it. That's if we don't get another one in the summer. But just a quick one on like the Champions League places. I think we've only God knows every week we keep saying this person, this team will definitely get it. Last week we were saying Man City will definitely get it. Now they're out top 5, so they have to win tomorrow night. It's not guaranteed for any of them right now. Even Forest are still winning, and lucky enough, they're fortunate that Forest didn't win last week. Yeah. Otherwise, a lot of them will be in trouble now.
That was too big. Dropping 2 points was too massive for them.
Yeah.
At home to Leicester.
So it's just the only, if I have to pick one person I think will make it, will be Newcastle. I'm not sure about the rest anymore. But then they said that they're playing Everton. You know what Moyes is like. They're playing.
Might just be stubborn.
It might be stubborn and just.
Newcastle are fine.
So that's the only one.
Fine.
That's the only one I can pick. But City got
Bournemouth,
and then Fulham away. But Fulham are still able to get European football. So that's not going to be an easy game.
Very slim though. Very slim.
Yeah.
Very slim.
No, they're the same point as so what?
Because Palace.
Because Palace won there.
Europe in the FA Cup, so it's one less place.
So there's only one more place.
There's
one less
for them to get for 8th to qualify. It has to be very specific.
A lot of
like Chelsea needs to finish 6th. It has to be very specific.
Okay.
Because that 8th place goes to Palace.
Palace
strikes away that 8th place.
Okay.
But
yeah,
you can still get it, but it's 2. It's very
okay. Fair enough. So who? Rob, I'll start with you. Who do you think? What teams do you think don't? The teams don't make Champions. The 2 that you think that's not going to make Champions League.
I don't think Forest will, because they got Chelsea last game of the season, and that 2 points they dropped last week.
But if they beat Chelsea, they're guaranteed.
Yeah,
Champions
do they have the balls?
Yeah, when the pressure was really on and they had an easy game,
they couldn't beat Leicester.
So I think just the fact that they've not been there before, they don't have the experience of it. I think that will count in the end.
Okay, who would be the second one? So that means if Forest don't make it, that means Chelsea is almost guaranteed to make it.
I think they will. I don't want them to, but they will. I'd say probably Villa.
Okay,
for me.
You boys disagree? Or?
Yeah, I'm just thinking to my initial. I didn't think that Forest and Chelsea would make it. So if they both draw and everyone else wins, they could still not make it, right? Yeah. So I'm just thinking I'm not going to switch up again, and I'm just going to stick to the fact that I didn't think that Forest would make it, but they will still make Europe, which is a fantastic season. And I don't think Chelsea. So I think Villa, Newcastle, and City.
I think Forest and Villa fall out. Villa, because we are crazy. We have like this weird thing with Villa where we'll just crush their joy. For some reason, we will pick up one more point this season and it'll
make it 40,
and it'll be against Villa randomly. And then Forest, on a different day, I'd have said Forest would beat Chelsea, but I think they just give away too many chances, and that might be their undoing next week. I think
the chairman might tell them, well, you might beat Chelsea and get Europe, I'll give you 5 million each, something crazy.
Very
might incentivize them, something with something mad, isn't it?
Or he'll say,
and if you don't win, then I'll kill you. Yeah, or I'll kidnap your family. Allegedly.
That might be the easy way.
That's the only excitement on the last day of the season, really. So we'll wait and see.
I'm going to be flipping through those channels.
Will you be on holiday, though, wouldn't you?
But wherever I am, I'll still be flicking.
With 10 kids, you still have time. You still have time.
I'll hide. I'll be like, I'm going to the toilet. Come back 3 hours later.
Look, Rob, it's been a miserable season. I'll say for both of us because, the expectation will be for Arsenal to win something this season. I'm not sure if a second place without winning anything is an excitement for you, so I don't want to speak for you, but I guess it will be. Your season's not as bad as us, but I'm guessing it's
Hell
not,
no.
A little bit of disappointment.
It's not. It's,
that's a better word. Yeah.
So let's start with Arsenal. Let's get the easy one out of the way. Going into this season, what was your expectation for Arsenal? And obviously, with the season now finished establishing that they're not going to win anything, what's your thoughts on the manager and the whole team overall?
I don't think I'm going to say anything that you haven't already said about your team because I expected you to challenge for the title, but I expected you to sign a striker. And if you'd signed a striker, you probably would have challenged for the title. It's really as simple as that, I think. Kind of ABC, isn't it? I don't think there's anything too complicated about that. I don't really understand why any Arsenal fan would want Arteta out. I think there's a seriously limited number of trophies, and I don't think anyone has a divine right to win trophies. It's tough every year. It's getting tougher because if you've seen Palace first ever trophy, Newcastle first trophy for 700 years or whatever, and these teams are actually putting up fights for the big trophies now. So it's not just a case of like it used to be 10, 15 years ago, which one of the four is going to win this trophy. There's like 10, 12 teams in contention, and any given day you have one bad day and it's over. So I don't think there's any sort of negative on Arteta for not winning that. And I think it's weird that people say like either there's a manager as a winner or not a winner. Like with everything in life, there's a fuckload in the middle of that where you're a good manager that hasn't had a break.
Yeah.
Until
you win, somebody wins at some point, right?
But especially in a cup, there's so much luck comes into it. I don't understand how you can say like, if you don't just by some chance beat these 8 teams in a row, then you're a shit manager. How is that a thing? I don't get it. Is he too pragmatic? Yes. Is that possibly because he doesn't have the firepower that he wanted at the start of the season? Also possibly yes. So if the board back him and bring him in 2 free attacking players, whether that's like a winger, striker and a creative midfielder, do you challenge for everything next year? Yeah, probably. So are you that far away? No. And the mess that he inherited, there was just so much mess. So I just
called dross.
For me, I don't understand the panic. Like, you've got a plan, you've stuck to it. You then deviated for a year where you've just kind of held your ground. You haven't actually gone backwards. You've held your ground. That's not that bad.
Preach.
Preach,
Rob. Preach. I was loving hearing that. Loving it.
Obviously, basing on what you just said now, going into next season, would it just be expectations just to challenge again? But at some point, that expectation is going to turn into winning something, though, right?
I don't really get that though. If you've got a team that's in the mix and you say at the start of the season
single time
and in January, look, we're still in the mix for at least 2-3 trophies. We're at the latter stages. What makes them guaranteed to beat these other teams? It might just go that way.
I get that. There's no guarantee to win.
For me,
to win these things, but the whole point of football is to win trophies.
I get it, but at the same time, if you're sitting there as part of the Arsenal board, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, okay, next season Arsenal win nothing, and you want to sack Arteta, you got to have a name.
Yeah,
give me that name of that person who's going to do
and they have to win, right?
Can't do. And they have to win almost immediately because he's not coming into a mess. He's coming into a really stable team, a little bit of a small squad where you need to add a bit of depth in a couple of places and certainly some firepower. But what manager absolutely guarantees to come in and win trophies with Arsenal in the next 2 years?
I get what you're saying, but I think there's... As you said,
Eric Ten Hag.
But if you can't answer that question of who that name is, then why are you getting rid of him?
There's no defining right to win something. But are you just going to keep sticking with him without winning nothing? Because the whole purpose of football is winning something. And the reason why they're in this situation in the first place is they wanted to get rid of Wenger that wasn't winning anything. So what is the purpose of like going through that whole process to go back to the same position where Champions League is just enough?
But when they got rid of Wenger, what happened? Where did they go? They went down to 8th, 9th, 10th in the table.
It's doing the same thing So they should just go back to that Wenger era again, where they're just
But
constantly
this era
top
is
four.
not the same as the Wenger era.
No,
Wenger era was
near.
4-4-4-4.
Yeah, nowhere near.
What's the
This
difference?
is second and challenge. Not this
No,
year,
proper
but last
challenges.
year there was
What is the
challenge.
difference?
There was challenge for the
So you
Champions
might as
League
well be
this year.
fourth, second. If you're not winning anything, you might as well be fourth as well. Because Wenger did go seasons with challenging, and if anything, you can say Wenger had a lot more
think he
obstacles
did.
to go over. Because Wenger didn't have enough money to spend like this man did.
But he did at the end. And when he had it, he didn't spend it.
Towards the end of his tenure, you're
Yeah.
saying?
The seasons he dropped, the last season when he dropped out of the top four finally, he had money there to spend and didn't spend it.
So what you're saying is they should just continue to stick with a manager that's not winning. I don't think any fans will be that. I'll purposely, if I'm not an Arsenal fan, but the whole purpose of football is to win something. I'm not going to give a manager 20 years just like
No,
Says
but-
give him 20 years.
But I see
But
where
it
both
gets
are
to a
coming
point-
from, and it
gets to a
depends.
point where it's enough is enough. Though you have to win something.
It depends on where your view is coming from and what type of team you support, right? Because if you already have a culture of the team you support always wins all the time, or the teams are in and around your team always win. That's what your mindset is going to be on. But actually, if you haven't won in a while, but now you're in the mix, there are going to be a large section of fans that are just happy with just being in the mix. But the world we live in with Arsenal fans just by themselves,
The world we live in is do or die.
yeah, the
It's a
board
microwave
might be
it's a
like,
microwave
this just
generation.
makes sense. We are on. It's like being at a fair. We're at the edge. We're just waiting to tip over into that trophy, but we're always at the edge. And to us, as long as we're on that edge, we're in position. But the fans are going to be like, I don't fucking care about that. I just want the trophy. So now you've got two contrasting
But would
views.
you rather have a squad that's there to
Mate,
challenge for
I
the next
would-
5
I'll happy
years?
do you know where I am right now?
Yeah, but would you rather a team that challenges
I'll go
for
on
the
that
next
edge.
5 years, or would you rather win a couple of trophies with like an Avram Grant as manager like Chelsea did and end up 12th
Or
in
better
4
Di
years'
Matteo.
time?
I want
This is what I'm saying.
lasting.
For me, I support a crap team, right? So
Yeah, but-
I'm all about making sure if I have a quality football team that I enjoy watching, that's my first and foremost.
100%.
If we can challenge for stuff, even better.
And
If
if
we
you
can
can
get over the
win.
line and win stuff, that's
Yeah.
Which
It's
is
all
the hardest thing to
perspective.
do.
It's all perspective.
all
though, isn't it? Yeah,
perspective,
it's all dependent. Because for me personally, 100%. It depends on like moments. Like if we've gone through it, like what we've gone through for the last 5 years, I'll be happy to stay in a position where my team is challenging me second. But I'm not going to be happy with that forever. It will get to a point where, of course I'm going to want to win. I can't say every season, oh yes, okay, we'll say second again and we'll compete again. As a fan base, if I don't know what type of fan we want, unless if you can't just, especially if it's a team that has won a league previously, they've won competition previously. If it's a team like a Palace or whoever it is that have never won anything, they'll be more than happy to sit in that position. But
it's all
you're talking about
perspective.
Arsenal that has won the league before, and the whole purpose of spending this money is to win a league, is to win some sort of trophy. Even if you're not winning, I can understand what you're saying. If you're not winning the top trophies, because there's only 2 top trophies. Like how many teams are competing for the top 2 trophies? But if he's getting you absolutely nothing, that's not acceptable. Palace is getting you something. Newcastle is getting you something. Those are different. The top one, fair enough. Fans can sit there and compete. But if he's getting absolutely nothing, the only fans
Which is not factual, by the way, guys. We've won the FA Cup with Arteta.
fans are gonna,
So he hasn't actually got us absolutely nothing.
fans are gonna look at it as there's other
I get you.
managers winning something with less.
You're not going to
Those managers are not challenging for the league or Champions League, by the way.
But
guys.
you're not going to wait 20 years. But I'm saying he's earned the right to have another 2-3 year crack at it
2-3
to see what he
years.
can do, for sure, in my opinion.
Now,
And
that's fair
the
enough.
reason for that is I put you back to that same question I said at the start is you're in the Arsenal board. You're the one pulling the trigger. You've sacked Arteta. Tell me the name that
luck.
guarantees you to win the title next season. Or guarantees you an FA Cup.
I don't think
even.
I don't think anything is guaranteed. But
yeah.
there will definitely.
Who's the one that's on the
there's definitely
same
managers.
caliber?
There's definitely managers out there. Nothing is guaranteed. But for us to sit and think, we can't always say naming the name. That definitely we would have thought Slot would have won something at Liverpool. There's always managers out there to win something. That's the same thing as Xabi Alonso when he went to Bayern Munich, won the trophy for how many years? There's always managers out there. There will always be managers, but there's no way you can guarantee that a manager's gonna go there and win you the league. But can there be managers to like win you something? Of course there is, but you can't guarantee anything.
even the best managers go seasons without winning a trophy.
Of course,
So
yeah, 100%.
Fergie did it.
Yeah.
Like Mourinho's obviously in a spiral now, but he hasn't won anything for a while. Like good, competent managers sometimes don't win stuff for a while. I think it's just, I guess you said it about the culture of like everyone wants to win now or yesterday. And for me, I'm just a bit more patient.
Yeah, it's the generation we live in now.
I've
innit?
never seen my team win, so I'm quite patient with it.
Yeah.
And me seeing Arsenal from where they've come, that's why immediately for me, it's like, what the hell are you talking about getting rid of him? Obviously, there'll have to be a full stop. But at the moment, I'm like, you're in the mix all the time. Like, my team's somewhere else. But you're in the mix all the time. So I'm like, why are you sacking him? But I do also appreciate that at some point, the question has to be asked.
Yeah, I agree the question has to be asked, but I don't think that time's now.
Yeah, I totally agree right now.
Cool. Anything else to add in regards to Arsenal? No?
Don't think
Good.
so.
What's your surname, Rob?
Oh, no.
Got an Arsenal shirt with your surname on it. Loving your work, Rob.
All right. United.
Oh, they're going to be here forever.
How long you got?
They're going to be here forever.
Obviously, our worst season in our lifetime anyway. What's your thoughts on, obviously, Ten Hag coming in? When was the last time you've been there? You haven't been there this season, no? No. Your thoughts on, like, the decision that Ineos made to keep Ten Hag, then getting rid of him in October, and I'm not sure how much you knew of Amorim around that time. What's your thoughts on him coming in, and what's your thoughts on him now? And just players. There's so much to get into, but we'll try and keep it as brief
Let's try and keep it brief because we can be here forever.
Keep it brief. So the Ten Hag thing was, for me, a cost-saving exercise, like everything else, like taking away lunches and free tickets to finals, because they had a manager in there who was grateful to have the job and didn't want to push the boat out in terms of signings, wasn't going to force them into their wallet. So that seemed like an easy one. If he was at least heading in the right direction, that seemed like a cheap, good option to continue. Obviously a big mistake that they then corrected. Amorim, I thought was going to be a good appointment. I really thought that was going to turn your season around. So did I. And I actually like him, except why is he so stubborn? For me, I can't understand. I get having a plan, but there also has to be an element of pragmatism somewhere where you say, okay, these players can't do it, but they can do a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, and we could probably get a decent set of results that put us top 8 come the end of the season, and then I'll have a pre-season to say, look, everyone knows I like to play 3 at the back. We'll drill it over the summer with 5 or 6 new signings that are built to play that system, and then we go again next year. I just can't understand why you would keep flogging a dead horse and...
Because they're not getting any better. They're just not.
But they're just not suited to it.
Yeah,
and the best
not.
players don't fit into the formation. So, like, the most dangerous attacking threats that you've got are Ahmad and Garnacho that are out-and-out wingers, that he doesn't play as wingers. So, why are you then surprised when your strikers aren't scoring goals? I mean, your strikers are terrible.
Oh, we don't have strikers.
But then also, why not, if you are absolutely married to 3 at the back and your strikers are as bad as yours are, they'd actually work quite well together as a pair. So why not pair them up and get half a striker out of each of them? Get the link-up play from Xerxes and maybe a bit of
0.5 plus 0.5 equals 1.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then just have 110 behind that instead of the 2. And there's just no flexibility. I think the worry for me, if I was a United fan, would be that he's absolutely set on playing that way no matter what players he's got and no matter how bad it gets. And if that's the case now, he's never going to adapt in a game. The sort of managers that win big trophies can adapt on the fly, change their tactics, do different things. As much as I criticise Pep's thing of not holding mids in a cup final. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many league games are you going to throw away? To not be on 40 points at this stage of the season is criminal.
It's mad.
So many crap.
I don't even enter games expecting to get points anymore. Just crazy.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad.
But in regards to him being stubborn, I think the point he made earlier in the season was that these players have played the 4-3-3 formation, and like they were still no good. That's
You're
why
crap with that as well.
that's why they're in the
weren't
position
this
they're in.
bad.
I understand they weren't this bad. Of course not. They weren't this bad. But his point is, I can do what the previous manager did when Ten Hag came. He couldn't get them playing how he wanted them to play. He ended up submitting to what they wanted and just changed it all around. But he's not willing to do that because he's saying, if I do that and then come back again in the summer, start the season again, then they don't adapt to how I want to play. That's just going to be as bad as they are right now. So we're not going to move forward. As bad as it is, obviously it looks bad now. We're not going to move forward. So that's his thought process behind it.
I would say to you, if you were a player in that dressing room and you play 4 at the back and you finish 8th, and then he says, look, this is my tactical plan, 3 at the back, we're going to do that in the summer, drill it properly, bring it in next season, you go in with a bit of confidence. If you're coming in, finishing 4th bottom in the league, playing the tactic he wants, and he's going to say, I can add 3 or 4 players that fit the formation better, where's your confidence level in that actually working next season as a fan or as someone in the dressing room?
Yeah. So I think what you're saying in terms of some of those players, their mindset is, I might not even be here next season then. So I'm just going to go into every game without giving it all. So
not necessarily, but at the same time, when you're playing football and you're losing matches, doing the same thing every week. I mean, even on a Sunday, you change your formation, you change your tactics, you change something to try and get some results.
Yeah. But the manager, that's what I'm saying. The manager's been there and done that, where Ten Hag hasn't played his way he wanted to play. He's allowed them to do what they wanted to get over to the season, start again in the summer. He's probably done it twice to start his 3rd season to try and play football. And this player is just, the message is not getting across to them.
Ruben's dying on his own.
And
his
mindset is, a manager's got sacked trying to do it your way. I'd rather get sacked doing it my way.
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, you're still getting sacked.
Exactly, yeah. So but I respect that. I'll take that. Take that. I'd rather get sacked my way than to get... These players, I'm not going to try and adjust my way to them because they're proven that I can't get anywhere playing with their way. They're proven to the previous manager like that.
But I would also counter that with saying, if you're Amorim going in there, would you not have confidence that you were a better manager than Ten Hag and that you could get something out of those players that he couldn't? That's ultimately...
Yeah, 100%. They would have asked him that, though.
That's how you...
And he would have answered yes.
Yeah.
They would have asked him, can you get a tune out of these lot?
And I get what you're saying. If he had adapted it, then come the summer, the players have proven they can't do it. Well, if he isn't picking up on which players aren't going to be able to do it and commit to it for the summer and clear them out and get new players in, then that's where he's failed. Rather than trying to force square pegs in round holes, get players uncomfortable. And the whole squad's lost confidence in that way of playing. So how's he going to change that around for next season now?
A lot of them's going to go. And I think that's the only way he does. And that's why I was saying last week, he's probably going to get... It has to... Probably for him, has to get rid of some of the big players to set in the message that, look, these players are clearly not here to do what I want. So I think the prominent players that you've mentioned, that I've mentioned, I was saying last week, Nacho, they will probably go. And I think that is probably the key message to send, that whether you like it or not, this is how I'm going to play. And if it doesn't work for him, he's going to have to take on the chin, as simple as that. And for me, I will respect that, because the last 2-3 managers we've had has played the 4-3-3 formation. So it hasn't worked for them. So I get it. And just in terms of like him not adapting, or it makes tweaks during the game. The formation always stays the same, but he definitely do make tweaks during the game. I see sometimes it brings like the wing back into the like Dallo sometimes to allow, as you said, you get the best out of like Garnacho and Ahmad when they're wide, right? So what it does sometimes is bring them in when we're attacking, so them guys can go wide. So it does make little tweaks, but I just don't think the players are comfortable enough, and I don't think they have the level of intelligence to do some of the things that he's asking.
I think you've got a terrible squad, because I was doing this exercise the other day. If you look at the Europa League final and you could pick a best 11 from the Spurs and United squad, there's maybe 2 United players in that at best, which given Spurs a 16th.
That's not saying much, is it?
Yeah. No, I agree.
That to me would be the biggest worry, is how are you going to get a better squad? Because you've thrown money at terrible players. And
that's the biggest issue we have. Like, Højlund really upset me when we played Chelsea. And the reason why it was so bad was there was a move. He collected the ball on a half turn. And instead of running through, so you turn defender, it's just space. The ball comes to him. He sort of backs into the defender, tries to win a foul. They don't give a foul. 2 minutes later, the exact same move happens with Cole Palmer. What does he do? Turns the player, it was a midfielder this time, turns the midfielder and runs off. And I'm like, if Højlund had just done that, you just got the goal. But your choice...
Two different players, two different IQ levels, isn't it?
Your choice where was... Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm old now. The level I play is dreadful. But if I'm in that same position, I'm gone. There's no way.
See, with him, his biggest problem is he struggles to play with his back away from goal. I don't know what... One, his touch is not great. Two, as much as it looks as like he's built, he can't deal with the physicality of like the defenders behind him. So he's best, like, I won't be surprised if he leaves us, going to to the Italian wherever it is and gets goals, because when you watch him play, he's not someone that it's not like a Nunes that's just going to be crazy amount of chances. He's going to get goals, but he's got to be running towards goal. He can't be playing. He's not the type of striker. He's not footballer. You know what I mean? Too much pressure. He's someone that needs to get himself in his place, running towards goal rather than playing back away from goals. And that's where his problem is. But when he goes somewhere else, he probably will get the goals. It's not that he won't get goals. He's not going to be crazy amount of goals.
But there's too much involved in him actually scoring. In this league.
And then he can't. That's where those are his limitations. He can't do any of that. Because even what Roy Keane said the other day is spot on. It's like it's come on as if he's just come from the academy. Like the way he plays is running around as if it looks pretty bad. It's no different from him and Chido that was talking about, saying, look, Chido's not ready. It's like, if you saw him and Chido, you would have thought both of them just came from there. Like, you wouldn't have thought that he's 100%. Been there for a long time.
And we spent 70
million on him.
Honestly, you might as well give Chido the minutes, because at least he's going to develop. Yeah. He looks like he's got an actual football brain. Højlund, the worrying thing for me is he has no instinct in the box whatsoever. Yeah. Like, the amount of times he makes the wrong run, doesn't know what type of cross his winger's putting in. Mm-hmm. I mean... You don't have to watch Garnacho much to know that he doesn't float crosses. He puts them in along the floor. So you want to get across your man. It's not difficult. It's the most simple run to get in front of your man last second as the low cross comes in. And he's not even looking for it. He's standing 2 yards back.
And that's the thing. People make excuses for him that, they don't give him the ball. He's never there. He's never there.
It's something that me and Adams touched on from the very get-go, from the beginning of the season, where a lot of people were saying that United don't put enough crosses in the box, or don't create enough chances. He's just never there. If you're making the wrong runs, because there's other players that are scoring goals, they obviously must be doing something to be getting in there.
When's the last time he looked to threat from a cross? When did he last get his head on the end of a cross?
Yeah.
Because he, like you said, he's never in the right place. He has no killer instinct whatsoever. And even when he does get chances, he snatches at them. He's not a good finisher even. You could get away with not having the instinct to be in right place, right time if when you did get a chance, you were clinical with it. But he hasn't got any of those things.
Yeah. You guys need a number 9.
Let's spend some cash. I don't know what you're talking about.
The manager, obviously, look, we just spoke in the manager, and what are you going into next season? Do you think he struggles with, because I don't, obviously it's gonna probably have he'll probably be able to bring in 4, 5. I don't think he's able to bring in more than that. Yeah. And do you think 4 or 5 is enough for him, or no?
In short, I think the best you can hope for is just into the top half with what you've got plus 4 or 5. I don't think there's any possibility, unless you're somehow wheeling out a 25-year-old Messi. It's not
happening. Oh shit! That is
look, I'll be honest. I think that's something I said to Ade is it's not so much about the season anymore. My concern is going into next season. There's nothing there there's nothing that gives you hope as a fan base. You just start looking at, and I still stand on this. I don't think individual disc players are rubbish like that. They're just the wrong combination of players in a team. because you can easily put some of these players in another team.
And
Really?
they'll do well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly don't.
reckon
Honestly,
You really think so?
Look at what Anthony's doing, for example. It's supposed to be a dead weight, right? But if you're that bad, you're not going to be scoring that goal. What are you doing there?
Yeah, he's done really well.
And I think that's where the research goes, because I'm accepting that not every player that we look at that we think is bad. They might just not work for that team or for that league. But then you look at certain players and you're like, no, your attributes mean you are, like with the scouting, you scout players, you look at their skill set compared to the league they're coming into. Look, when you see Rafinha's skill set, so when we bought Anthony, I just wanted Rafinha. I was like, his ability or what he does screams Premier League for me. So when we got Anthony, I wasn't happy about it. And when he came, I was like, that's why.
I think I think once we do get rid of a lot of those players, you will see that they will do well in like other leagues, and the expectation level is different, because when you're saying these players are not good enough, what are we saying they're not good enough for? They surely should. They're not players that should be in the relegation. They shouldn't be 17.
Yeah,
and I mean,
sure.
International.
International.
I mean they're good enough. I mean, I've always said these players are good enough for top 6. I mean, top 8 minimum for me personally. I think these players are, but they're just the wrong combination of players. So that's my fault on it. So you're gonna see when a lot of them leaves. I won't be surprised if they do well elsewhere, depending on if they were left for the right opportunity.
I'd agree to disagree.
I don't think it's going to be the UK. I think a lot of them won't be in the Premier League.
But I mean, even if you were sitting there as like a Villarreal or something in the Europa League in Spain, how many of these United players are you interested in actually taking?
They'll take Maino.
They'll take players.
They'll take Maino. They'll take.
Yeah, but you're talking about 2 or 3.
You say that as well. So how many
Okay,
people?
fair.
You just gave an example of Villarreal, pretty much similar to like Real Betis. How many United players do you think are taking? They're just taking someone, and he's done well for them. There is a lord to them right now. See how the fans love him. But we were saying this guy is not a Premier League player. Is that not what we're saying? He was something at Ajax. Now he's gone to Real Betis. He's almost getting them into the Champions League spot, but we thought it was nothing. So that's the example you just given now, Villarreal. And it's not pretty much similar teams.
I'd still say there's only 3 or 4 though of any real interest to teams that want to challenge for Europa League via a Big 5.
But because it also depends on the level of team. That's
another
true.
example is McTominay was the worst player in the world. He's competing for the league.
I didn't think he was the worst. I never thought that.
You personally didn't think of that, but we're talking about United players. We keep saying a lot of these players. We go into a lot of United players now. Well, everyone said a lot of these players were the worst players in the world, especially McTominay. He definitely was one of them with
Scotty too Hardy.
You've never played him in the right position.
He's been tipped to win one of Player of the Season.
But he's playing further forward.
But this is examples I'm telling you now of players that have left that they look like the worst players in the world playing for United, and it seems like the fan base in whatever club they're in now are lauding them. Those are 2 examples for you right there.
They're 2 guys that put maximum effort in, and for whatever reason, when you've decided to cut your squad, you've taken out guys who put maximum effort in.
Other fans appreciate
but
that.
This players, when this players was in the squad, no one was saying anything about of this nature about them. You might have 1 or 2 like Ade that definitely always been consistent with McTominay, but I guarantee you get 20 people in here, 19 wasn't saying this about McTominay.
But I think he's just an attacking version of Darren Fletcher. No one at United ever liked Darren Fletcher, but he's that dependable 7 out of 10 guy you can bring in for 20, 25 games a season, no matter what level you're at in the league, and you know what you're going to get. He's not going to let you down. And McTominay was always that guy. He was never going to be your world beater. He was never going to step into Bruno's shoes. But for me, it was crazy to get rid of someone who loved the club, put all his effort in, and never really got a chance to play in his proper position. And
now he might win a league.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, good on him. Good on him if he is able
we'll
to
see
win
where
one.
we get to next season. Who we buy.
There's a lot of questions that obviously that we've gone through that needs to be answered, and only time will tell. Only time will tell. We'll see who goes in the summer. We'll see when they do go. What he's depending on the players that he brings in, what he's able to get out of them. But going into one of the worst finals in the last few years, who do you think wins that, or who do you want to win?
I would want United to win it because I just don't like Spurs.
I mean, nobody does, innit?
So I can't really say more than that. But and I think they will, to be honest. Spurs just look a mess.
I can't see United being. I'm not gonna lie.
If you think Spurs up, United just a mess as well, right?
Yeah, Spurs are a mess, absolutely. And yeah, United are just as much of a mess, but United don't have a history of choking in
Just
the big.
choking.
Yeah, that's
Your
it.
team that beat City in the FA Cup final was nowhere near good enough, but you still did it. Like, just have that knack of winning.
To be honest, I did have a dream that we beat them 4-1. So everything else screams to me that we're gonna lose, but that one dream, I'm gonna hold on to it.
Yeah. But I think the first bands are definitely going in there confident that they'll win it. They're beating you.
They're just happy to go to the final.
You've not beaten them in what, 2-3 seasons or something? You said,
I think 2022.
And if you look at like the perfect indictment on both clubs is they're 16th and 17th respectively. Yeah. United's goal difference is what are they?
minus 12.
Spurs actually score goals.
Yeah, there's a positive.
They got a positive goal difference.
They've got a positive.
The two teams are right here next to each other.
Yeah.
So it lets you know how shit they both are, but how shitter the other one is.
I think I'll go different. Last season,
Because normally if teams are like 16, 17, 18, 19, they're similar. Goal difference is similar. Scored little goals, conceded a lot. No, Tottenham has scored a shitload of goals as well.
our goal difference last season, I think, might have been -1 or something. I almost had a stroke. It being on -12 now,
Yeah.
I don't even know what goes through my mind on a daily basis.
So that's the indictment that if it is a one-off game, obviously anyone could win, but Spurs probably got the more firepower that you'd say, okay, cool, they can go on and.
Timo Werner.
Is it still there?
Yeah, they're sending him back at the end of the season.
But he hasn't had the game in a while, though, has he?
I think
He was injured. He had a big injury, innit?
Oh.
Even if he wasn't
But yeah,
injured,
but
they are done with him. They are done with him.
All right, look, let's just leave the Premier League for now. Let's do something we haven't done all season. Talk about the Championship. Where should we start?
Start with Rob's club, innit? QPR.
Should we start with
You're
you?
going to start with your club, innit? Yeah.
Can't I just talk about how bad Man U are?
I think obviously you've been steady in the Championship for how many years? Your manager just left. He's going to West Brom, is it?
Apparently not.
Yeah,
but
it's not.
So
So he's on gardening leave, though, right?
Yep.
So where is he going to go?
his representatives were talking to West Brom behind our back. We put him on gardening leave for West Brom to say he's not on their shortlist.
Oh, shit.
Oh, lovely. Love a bit of EastEnders drama. I love it.
Oh,
Get out of my pub.
okay.
So he's in limbo.
But then he did help you last year.
Trouble.
It helped you to survive last season.
And this season.
And this
Messi,
season.
He put us in this season. He saved us from as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, he didn't really get much back, and you don't spend much money, do you?
We spent a lot of money last summer for the first time in a
But
while.
then he took over after a
so
while. So he wasn't there at the beginning of the season, so he wasn't the one that actually done the actual spending.
he was. Yeah, so he came in not the season just finished, last one midway through.
Yeah.
So we had Gareth Ainsworth, rock bottom. He came in, saved us. We finished last season by beating Leeds 4-0 in our last home game.
Yeah.
Go on.
And then Coventry 2-1 away last game of the season, and everyone thought we got it.
We're gonna
A few
pop
additions, we might actually
Win
be on
the
the
league.
outskirts of the playoffs or something. And then we started okay. We beat Luton twice in a week. At the time, we thought that was a good result.
Yeah. We just didn't know how bad Luton were going to be.
Exactly. We knocked them out of the cup, and we beat them in the league at their place, and thought, beating relegated teams at their ground, that's good signs. And then we didn't win for nearly 3 months until the end of November.
Bit like us.
And found ourselves in exactly the same spot as we were last season, except the manager that saved us from it was the one that put us in the shit this time. But the start of this season, we spent $3 million on a midfielder who barely played and was terrible up until the last 5
Who was the
games
midfielder?
of the season. Nicholas Madsen.
Okay.
He got 14 league goals in Belgium last year, but then it came out later that 8 of those were penalties.
How can that come out later? Who the fuck was scouting him?
To us, at least.
Oh,
anyways,
yeah,
fans. But and then we spent another like $1.5 million on a striker, top scorer in the Swiss league last season, Salah, And
Oh yeah, I remember him.
yeah, and he's not fast and he's not big. In the championship, that's a problem.
So he's small and he's slow. He plays up front.
Yeah. And then he was terrible to start with, but you have to give players time when they come in from different leagues, right? So he started to settle, looked all right, got 2 really nice goals. That first game we won in months was away at Cardiff 2-0. He got both goals, but got a really bad hamstring tear and was out for the whole rest of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, we spent.
You would have got the playoffs if he was fit.
But when you spend $5 million on 2 players that don't really contribute, then you're in trouble. And then, we won that game in November. We went on a tear, and we were 2 points off the playoffs.
Yeah, I remember when you guys went on the run.
The really big run, and then we did the same again. We went 2 months without a win, and we find ourselves back looking. Are we going to get relegated again?
Damn.
And then just got over the line, and then we get over the line. All the rubbish with the manager happens, and then we go away at Sunderland and win 1-0 in the last game of the season.
Yeah, set you guys up with some hope.
So now, it's the hope that kills you always.
Who do you think you replaces the managers? That any?
So there's 2 names in the frame at the minute. Gary O'Neill, because he played for us.
Like Gary
He's
O'Neill,
our playoff final hero.
Yeah,
he took one for the team, red card against Derby when they were through on goal, and do
you think Gary O'Neill would take that job? It's
the fact that he used to play for us.
It's a difficult.
It's a difficult job because he can still get something in the Premier League out of it.
Do you think?
So, yeah, I think he can.
It'll be a relegate unless he wants to come
I
in
think
for
he could get a bigger
relegation.
championship team.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
I think
Even if not like the lower end of the Premier League, definitely a bigger championship team that's got like ambition.
Or Burnley when they sack Parker.
We're not. Hey. No slander on Scott Parker's name, all right? Love Scott Parker.
The guy takes the biggest budgets in the championship and somehow wins the league.
It ain't easy to play that brand of football, all right? It ain't easy.
And then who's the second one?
The second one is Tom Cleverley.
Oh,
He's just been sacked by
their ex-player.
And to be honest, our fans are moaning about that because he's got no pedigree, but he's done a good job at Watford.
How many games was he in charge at Watford?
Over a year.
He was there for
He's the first manager.
They've done that thing of all the Watford managers they've had in recent years.
Yeah, he's the first one to do over a year.
Because he closed out the season before.
And he was there for
I feel as if they announced it maybe like 4 weeks before they sacked him. He's manager, he's sacked.
But they did a weird thing in the middle of the season. He was under pressure and the fans chanted his name, similar to what we did with our manager. We backed him, which is why it's all the more annoying that he's talking to West Brom. Yeah. But the fans backed him, and then the board came out and said, "Oh, don't worry, he's got our full backing for the next game."
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Can I ask why West Brom are after your manager if you guys are struggling? Or
I don't understand. I mean, I think loads of people got carried away when we had that great run to get on the edge of the playoffs, and his name was linked with them and Norwich and all of the jobs that have come available. But for me, what he's done is par. Like, we're probably 15th, 16th biggest budget, wages and everything in the championship.
Oh, in the champ? Okay. So where you are is pretty, like you said, on par. Okay, yeah.
So is he a good manager? Well, it's really hard to tell because he took over a team that was managed by someone incompetent. So sort of the Ten Hag
like Gareth Ainsworth, though. Like Gareth, no?
He's
the Maverick, innit?
There's a reason he's in League 2. Right?
Yeah, he's the Maverick, innit?
And I think the levels are totally different. I think we're just discussing that off air in terms of like the jump from League 1 to Championship with the way football is played now in Championship. It's massive.
I love Gareth Ainsworth at Wickham.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lovely relationship with Adebayo Akinfenwa.
It was when he tried to sign him just this season that was the problem.
Just on like Watford, they've got, I don't know the manager's name, but they've got that manager that was in Brazil that was managing Ronaldo's team and got them promoted, I believe. And then he went to Spain and Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo.
Oh, Vallecano.
Yeah, and he got them promoted as well, right? And then they've
what's
now going
Tommy
from
said, the real
Watford.
Ronaldo.
Oh, okay.
Let's quote
I
that.
missed
Clip that.
Yeah. So I think he's just so I think that's the person that's taken the job at Watford. So it'll be interesting to see how he got on because he's been in Brazil and Spain, got 2 teams promoted. So we'll see whether he gets on the Watford. Yeah.
Who's he managing?
Watford.
They're
basically the same club as us. We finished same points last season. They finished 1 point above us this season. We basically got the same budget.
And they've still got the owned by the Italians.
Yeah. Udinese lot. Yeah.
She's saying coming back to the Premier League is not 5 years. It's not happening. 10 years.
Maybe.
Right,
But the Championship is a weird league. You can start off well, like with a good run, and you just never know where you get yourself sometimes.
Yeah, Rob, cut yourself some slack. About 5 years, Rob, you can be back.
And I think when
You'll
you
be
had
back.
that opportunity, you was never able to capitalize whenever you had the opportunity. What was the former Rangers manager when
Warburton.
when he almost got you up? So I think that's when you had the opportunity, but you were never able to capitalize and just see it through. Like Sunderland this year as well. It's kind of the same. Really, they started off really well.
But what I'd say with those teams it's always when that happens, when a team's in there and they drop off, it's a non-parachute payment team that has a smaller squad.
Yeah.
That 46 games in, they're just knackered.
Yeah.
So the parachute teams have got such a big advantage because their squads are so much bigger. They can effectively double the budget.
Got away with it.
They did, yeah. They did an amazing job.
You go with that momentum because remember I told you.
And they were dropping they were dropping off as well. So they had a bit of luck just to get over the line towards the end.
Yeah, but I think they're going to be in a much stronger position with the parachute payments now. But I mean, it's not that it won't ever happen. It's just it's so much harder without the parachute.
More realistic, it'll be a playoff position rather than anything else.
To be honest, I think if you talk to most QPR fans, if we had no relegation fears, top half next season, I'll take that right now, just to not worry about it. It's too many like heart palpitations on a fucking 6-game losing streak.
You don't want to be in League One.
I don't want to do that again.
With the gonna go into Wrexham in a second, but quickly with the player final, Sheffield United and Sunderland. Who do you think?
I think Sheffield United will get it done.
Yeah, I think Chris Wilder. I don't know what it is with him, man. He knows how to get the job done when he's needed. And he seems like he's quite experienced, been there, done that. It didn't feel like pressured because he missed out on the top two because they could have got top two. Mm-hmm. But the way he's still got them going, it seems like they're still got. Because you get teams when they've missed out on that top two, when they narrowly missed out, they would just drop on form. Yeah. But the team seems quite confident. Even you can see that with the playoff games against Bristol City. I didn't even know Bristol City was owned by Hargreaves Lansdowne.
Is it?
Yeah,
Lansdowne family.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I only found that out. I was watching TalkSports a couple of weeks ago. I actually didn't know. But yeah, so you think Sheffield United?
Yeah, I think I was going to say for the same reasons you did. Wilder's been there and done it, and Sunderland just have a history of choking as well.
So it's third against fourth, isn't it? Because they both knocked out fifth and sixth, and Sheffield United finished quite a bit ahead of Sunderland.
Yeah,
I was hoping Coventry will make it, but they didn't. Yeah, they didn't do it.
I did like Coventry until they got Lampard.
What about Sunderland? Because they've been investing with that owner. Well, obviously, his dad was a billionaire. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire too, right?
I don't know if it's in his own right. Or
yeah,
we're billionaires, right, Dad?
Because he's friends with a lot of like all these big players. He's friends with Dembele. Dembele came to watch the game a few times at Stadium of Light. If they don't get through the season, because they actually had like a young talented squad, and I'm surprised Clark left for Ipswich. What's the winger's called? Clark, right? Jack Clark. I'm surprised he left for Ipswich because the forward players are quite talented. If they probably won't be able to hold on to a lot of them, especially Joby Bellingham. He's probably going to leave. I think he's had a lot of links.
Dortmund
are linked, so he's going to leave as well.
He'll probably do that.
So even Roberts. Do you like him? I like Roberts.
He had his chance and he chose to go to Celtic, so he's dead to me.
So they do have like talented players. If they don't make it this year, do you see them still challenging next season?
Yeah, I think they can reinvest.
They'll be in and about
because they're going to get decent fees for, like you said, a lot of their players are young. And some of them are local guys as well, so they might give it another year, given this is the first one they've even challenged.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll lose a lot. Plus, they've signed a lot of their best players have been signed in the last 2 years as well. So they've obviously got decent scouting set up. I like the striker Isidore and a few of the other guys. So.
Yeah,
he's done well this season. Yeah, he's done well. Right, let's just go into Wrexham. Do you think they was gonna do it? You know what? One thing I can guarantee, though. One thing I knew Birmingham was winning that league.
100.
I absolutely knew Birmingham was going to win that league. But I wasn't sure. Me and Addy was talking about it at the beginning of the season because we normally go through like the Championship League one down all the way down to see what teams were going to come up. So in we predicted Barnet.
Barnet for National League.
We got that one right. We thought Chesterfield was going to do the
because teams normally do the National, then League Two
so we
back
thought
to
Chesterfield
back.
was going to do it.
But
But that league was crazy anyway because it kept on changing.
Walsall was mental.
They were like 15 points clear.
There was a time that I just thought it was over. And then I heard, they're just about to guarantee playoffs. And I thought, what are you talking about? They won this league like 3 months ago. That was crazy.
And then look, and I think why Wrexham were fortunate is because Wickham lost their manager. And then ever since they lost them, their performance just went downhill. And that just slightly saved Wrexham.
Yeah, I think Stockport should have done better as well, to be honest. They had a blip, not right at the end of the season, but like sort of end of February, beginning of March, where they were in contention and they dropped off.
Yeah, it was a tough league.
And I thought it was Charlton that made a lay run in that league because there was being all the big teams towards the end. There was being everyone. I think the only one that actually beat them was Wrexham, and I think that's when Wrexham got promoted. Right, I think they beat them 2-1. But it is a tougher league. But how do you think they get on in the Championship next year?
Well, given that their revenue from all the sponsorship is already Championship, it's going to be borderline Premier League budget for them. So all of that stuff about parachute payments, they're going to be in that bracket. They're going to gut their whole squad. They've got a bunch of like 30-plus-year-olds that are all end of contract that they've already said they're not keeping. So, yeah, it's a massive summer for them. But if they get the right players, if they get Tom Kearney for 50 grand a week,
it would be crazy if they go up straight away. Because I thought League One to Championship was a step too much for them straight away. I thought it will take them a couple of seasons. So for them to do it, well done to them. But if they can get straight to the Premier League as well.
But you know what?
That's what fairy tales are made of, isn't it?
You know what? And I think that whole fairy tale, like the global attraction that they've currently got now, is attracting players. Players want to be a part of it.
Yeah,
players want to go to Las Vegas for free.
yeah, but I mean, even like Steve
Fletcher,
when he got released, he's putting all these love hearts in his message, and it's like, please cast me in one of your films after this. Like, come on, man, you're 38 years old. Have some self-respect.
Self-respect don't pay these mortgages.
He's earned his money. He played Premier League. He don't need the cash. Come on, man. Just leave and say thanks for the memories. I'm off.
Nah, man, trying to be an extra in one of those films, bro.
Because I remember, was it Troy Deeney wanted to try to go? He wanted to go. There's a few.
Troy Deeney's currently playing Baller League at the moment.
But this wasn't
Getting
this
sent off.
season. This was like
one of the previous ones.
Yeah, one of the previous ones. So I think there's something about that whole story that does attract players.
Plus
something
the cash.
about the money.
Plus the cash.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
Oh no, I get all sorts of big wages and opportunities to get all these sponsors. It's terrible.
But Tom is a good player, though. Tom Keating is a good player, so it will be if they do get him. I just don't think they'll get someone that. It depends whether he's still hungry enough to play football. But he is actually a good because I've always liked him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not exactly got legs anymore, so they're going to have to put him in a system where he's just a playmaker, and the runners are around him. But yeah, I mean, it depends exactly what they.
He improves their team, so that's already
100%.
step in the right direction. Whether or not he's worth that amount of wages is another question entirely. But.
Well, to anyone else in the Championship, no. But when you've got a Premier League budget, it probably is like the equivalent of 10 grand to anyone else.
But it'll be interesting. I'm about to start their new season on Disney. I'll say Disney Plus. They ain't sponsoring us. I'm about to watch their new season on the channel.
Pirate, innit?
In terms of like the whole like Championship downwards, is there any players that caught your eyes this season that we should look out for?
Below the Championship.
Well, it can be
below
Championship
Premier
as well.
League.
Below Premier
Okay.
League.
Well,
I
was thinking League One, and you mentioned him already, but Kone at Wickham.
Yeah.
I think is no-brainer that he's at least a Championship player, probably a Premier League player at some point.
Tom spotted him in the park.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were doing in the park.
No. I was working. Well, still slightly. I haven't done anything for them in a long while, but I was working with it's a football agency, but I ain't worked with them for a while. And then someone told me about him, so I went to Newham Athletic. That's where he was before. So I went to watch him play. And the first time I saw him play, I sent the video to the boys in the group. This is before Wickham even signed him. This was like...
Oh, this was ages
This
before
was 2
that.
years.
Way before that. Yeah.
2 years or 2 to 3 years. Even before. This was when he was 16. So I think 2 years. He got Wickham. He's 19 now. This is before he even got the Wickham deal. So I sent it to the boys. I was like, this boy can definitely play professional football. But there was a few struggles trying to get him into a team. The agency I was working with, they tried to help him. Couldn't get him into a team, but he ended up getting into Wickham anyway. And I wasn't surprised to see that he scored that much goals, because he almost broke the non-league record with the amount of goals he scored. I think it was Robert Unsher's record that he almost broke. I think he got 40 something. I can't remember what the record was. And he almost broke.
The guy was toying with the league.
Yeah, he definitely was too good for it. So I wasn't surprised, but then he obviously slowed down, and that's what a manager also does to you. After that manager left, his goal scoring record slowed down, but he still obviously won Young Player of the Season. But he can definitely at least go one league above, but that league doesn't help him because he's scrapping for goals, because everything is just going in the air 89% of the time. So to even get that amount of goals in a league like that is so impressive, because I guess the non-league is built in for that, I suppose. So, and that's why.
Like, he'd be the sort of guy I'd be looking at if I was Wrexham. Absolutely. Because he can do them this season but grow into it as well.
Yeah.
Any other players or just...
I really like Lewis Bate at Stockport as well. He's like 22, their captain, came from the Chelsea Academy.
I've heard he's been linked with a move. I can't remember where to. But
I think I put him in the same bracket. Like at very least, he's a Championship player.
Yeah.
But I think he could probably play Premier League as well.
I'm trying to remember who he was linked to, but I just can't remember at the moment. But he's definitely... I reckon he's moving this summer.
And to be honest, the level of the Championship now, I think there's at least one or two players in near enough every club that could easily do a job mid-table Premier League for half the games in a rotation option. I think we got a guy in particular, Kieran Morgan. We picked him up from Spurs in the summer. He's 18, just turned.
Where does he play?
Centre mid.
Okay.
And he's just...
He's a joke in there.
He's an absolute... he's a proper footballer.
He's too much for us. He's too good for us. Take him.
He's got a first touch. He looks up. He can play a pass. He breaks
you got
lines.
all the dross around him.
He can dribble. He just... You can't pressure him. Even at 18, playing adult football the first time.
So they try and press him. He beats the press.
He was released by Spurs, so he's a free. Yeah. And, he's playing so well for us in the lead up to that bad run we had at the end of the season that Spurs fans even were commenting, why is this kid not in our team, edge of the squad? Because he just, like Eze was doing yesterday, you give him the ball in tight situations and you just don't worry about it. He's not losing it. He's got the footwork to wriggle and find a pass. And, he's just, to have that at 18 in a really physical league, okay, he got tired and we had to bring him out, but there's a player in there that he'll play Premier League, I'm sure, because he looks so comfortable already in the Championship.
You can just see that. Because when Eze was playing for you guys, you watch the matches and you're just like, oh, this guy is going somewhere.
I said after his debut, he'd play Champions League football. I know he hasn't done it quite yet, but there's no doubt in my mind he will. He just looks so different. It was just, gliding past people.
What happened to one of the Willets? Yeah. What happened to him?
He decided to leave on a free last summer, and now he's a sub at Cardiff. League One.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck you, Chris Willett.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Because that's another player that I know that
he
thought was quite
well.
His body's done with him, to be honest. I do,
because he had a bad injury.
As much as I say that, I do feel a bit bad for him because he had a really bad hamstring tear, and from there he doesn't sprint anymore because he's just terrified.
Yeah, probably.
That's just
have the confidence.
I do feel bad.
The mental battles by itself is something else.
And he came back into the team, not this season just finishing, but last season for us, and he did okay, but it was clear he wasn't
the same player he was, because that season, I remember him. Bloody hell.
Yeah, there was a point where he was just ridiculous, and it's a shame. He won't get that back. I can't even see a Championship team taking a risk on him after what he's done at Cardiff this year, to be honest. He started in the team and within a month he was
just
gone.
falling out of the pecking order.
Shows you how quickly things change.
Yeah.
It changes.
All right. I think that's about it. We'll probably definitely get you back on again next season.
When we're first in the league.
Yeah.
And we are too.
Let's say if we're doing well, then you're doing well. It's always nice to get a dose of like championship football every now and then. I watch it anyway. I keep an eye on a lot of those leagues. You know, Hammer's a bit. He's spoiled,
bougie.
He's bougie.
He's bougie. Doesn't have time.
I just see what comes up on Flash Score. Yeah, and then when these are talking in the group chat.
He doesn't have time for those type of league. Yeah, let's do the quiz. Take it easy on us, Rob.
All right, let's see. Let's see.
You can wrap up.
I've actually been looking forward to this. It's 10 questions as usual. I don't think any of the guests has finished on top
Don't put that kind
this
of pressure
season,
on me.
so
No, come on, no, of course not.
so feel
Of course they're
free.
not going to finish on top. Pause.
Pause. All right, so let's work through it. Question 1. Which League One team did Brentford sign Ollie Watkins from?
Ollie Watkins came from what?
I think I know that one.
Okay, so while you guys are thinking, I'll move on to question 2. English musician Elton John was twice the owner of which football club?
There's a candle in the wind.
So which club did Elton John own?
Let's get my guessing game on.
Somewhere close to a wig factory.
Question 3. In which season was the European Cup rebranded as the Champions League?
Can I just say the year?
The season.
So you asked
So
what's the first season it
Yeah.
was Champions League?
Yeah. Question 4. Jurgen Klopp has managed 2 clubs in Germany, Borussia Dortmund, and can you name the other?
Same.
Finally, a fucking question I know the answer to.
Question 5. Kevin Keegan won the Ballon d'Or twice while playing for which German club? Kevin Keegan won the Ballon d'Or twice whilst playing for which German club? Question 6. How many Champions League titles did Gareth Bale win with Real Madrid?
Champions League.
Yeah. Question 7. Which club won the inaugural Europa Conference League? So the first Conference League title, which club won it?
Can't you ask something about League Two? No.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was the House Conference, isn't it?
Yeah. The very first Conference League. Who won that? Question 8. Who play their football at the Riverside Stadium? Question 9. Jaap Stam managed which English club?
What was 9 again?
Jaap Stam managed which English... 7. Which club won the first Europa League Conference League title?
You drawing a picture over there?
No, I'm just scribbling stuff down, rubbing stuff out, rubbing my non-answer out.
Which club won the first Europa Conference League? Number 5 was Kevin Keegan won the Ballon d'Or twice while playing for which German club? All right, question 10. Manchester United have won the most games in Premier League history. Who has won the least?
Right, let's go back to number 1 is the Ollie Watkins one, yeah?
Yeah. That very last question. I'd like to see everyone's reasoning for why they picked the team they picked.
Let me just write some.
Definitely wrong, but I've got solid logic for why I'm wrong.
Let me just write some shit.
I expected. I
Keegan
expect
was,
most people to be wrong.
Keegan was okay. What team did he win the Ballon d'Or with?
Yeah.
Let me actually write some stuff down.
Sometimes you forget that he's won Ballon d'Or twice.
Yeah, I'm just saying this team because it's my name, so I know it's not right, but I'm just writing it because it's my name.
Everyone done?
No, wait, hold on one more.
I like when Ham writes multiple answers. I really love it.
Multiple choice.
Yeah, I really love it. Especially when he ends up with the wrong one.
Yeah, I'm just saying this for fun now. Don't even know if that's a real team.
All right, turn boards, please.
Cool.
Question 1. Which League One team did Brentford sign Ollie Watkins from? Exeter?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's Exeter. Yeah. I said Luton.
Elton John was twice owner of which football club?
Watford.
You're right.
Watford.
Yeah. I say QPR.
In which season was the European Cup rebranded as Champions League?
I said 94.
I said 93, 94.
91, 92.
92, 93.
Oh,
So you
none
guys
of us.
just dodged it fully. 92, 93. Jurgen Klopp has managed 2 clubs in Germany, Borussia Dortmund, and which was the other? Mainz.
That's the only one. There's only 2 questions I know I got for sure. That's one of them.
Kevin Keegan won the Ballon d'Or twice while playing for which German club?
Hamburg.
I said Hamburg because my name's Ham. I don't know.
Hamburg.
So that?
Yeah.
That was a fucking guess. I literally just said it because well.
It's Hamburg.
Go on, Ham.
How many Champions League titles did Gareth Bale win at Real Madrid?
I think it's 4 now.
It's 3
but
or
I said
4.
3.
So I just went with 3.
It's 5.
Oh, damn. That's wrong complete. As long as we're all wrong, it's all right.
Big boy. Which club won the inaugural Europa Conference League title?
Is it Roma?
Roma.
Oh,
It was Roma. That's when Mourinho won it and then got the tattoo. So if you hadn't gotten it, I'd have been like,
It's because of Mourinho, that's
is he
why.
really your daddy?
Okay.
Yeah. That's 'cause of Mourinho.
Who played their football at the Riverside Stadium?
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. Japstam
Is Reading.
managed which English club?
Hartlepool.
Reading.
Oh, okay, cool.
And Manchester United have won the most games in the Premier
Someone's
League
got to do some banner, damn it.
in history. Who has won the least?
Swindon.
In Premier League?
Yeah,
Swindon have been in the Premier League?
Yeah,
they have.
First season,
yeah.
yeah.
With Hoddle
I put
as their
Derby.
manager.
I put Derby
Wait,
down
are
here.
we saying I've got
Premier League
Luton.
history.
Yeah, but Derby had done multiple seasons. I know they had the worst
Yeah.
one. But
So
they
how
had
many seasons
Funny
have been
thing
there?
is that the person that probably didn't understand the question the most, the person that got it right, is Luton.
Luton.
Oh, swear down.
They only won 6 games
No, I
last
understood the
season.
question.
Oh.
But I can't, obviously.
Oh,
I didn't
you
know.
do?
Oh,
No,
okay.
but I thought I have others as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, Tom's
Okay.
correct.
I understood the question. I picked Luton because that was the only
Ever season.
So I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of another team that's only ever been to the Premier League once.
Once.
So I didn't think. Of
So
Luton.
basically,
Yeah.
that was my thought
Yeah.
process. That you have to pick a team that's only
Only
been
to
there
the
once,
yeah.
and then
So-
go from there.
yeah,
so
so
that
I
was
only picked them.
that was the
That's why I
exact
picked them.
approach.
Yeah, I was thinking between Swindon and Oldham for the same reason.
Because they,
I just like my Hartlepool answer.
for number 10.
No, for number 9.
Oh, who'd you pick for number 10?
Derby County.
No, they've been around so
Yeah,
many times.
I know, but I couldn't think of nothing.
Fair.
And you see, at this point, yeah, like when I got to question 10, I didn't have 5 answers down. Like, I didn't have Hamburg. I didn't have Ollie Watkins. I didn't have.
So they haven't beaten us.
They
I
still
got 3.
haven't been.
What did you get? Both 7.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Still
Well
haven't
done.
beaten
Well
us.
done. Well done.
Well done.
done.
Well done.
In our house, you want to call them?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, listeners, let us know what you got. Uh,
All right. Rob, thanks so much. Appreciate you coming through. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll definitely get you back on again. We've only got one more episode, I believe, for the season. So
you got
two. All right, we'll talk about it afterwards anyway. But thank you, people. Thanks for tuning in again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends and family.
Score prediction for the final, please. Quickly, score prediction. Get around the room. What's the score prediction? United 5-0.
My dream told me 4-1. United.
1-0 United.
2-1 United.
Yes, full house. They're gonna lose. Love that. And did you all see Declan Rice's goal in a new kit today?
Oh, it's
Finished. Did you love it? What do you think about the kit? Like it?
I don't give a damn.
Like it, Rob? Like it?
I don't like it.
Okay. And what do you think about the goal?
I'll talk about a goal.
No, goals, quality.
Okay. Good. Secured second place. Gotta be in the mix, like we said, Rob. Gotta be in the mix. Gotta be in it to win it.
All right, people. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll be back next week. We out. Peace.